Submit myself
to the laws of the Republic of Ghana,
to the laws of the Republic of Ghana,
and suffer the penalty for it.
and suffer the penalty for it.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Dr. Mahmoud BAWUMIA is the presidential candidate for the New Patriotic Party (NPP) in this 2024 general election in Ghana. But how much do you know about this man? Well, welcome to Ghana Votes 2024 on the Kente Business Journal. This is our first episode of our coverage of the 2024 general election in Ghana. My name is Akote Amwakwata. Today we are going to study a lot about the personality, career and history and life of Dr. Mahmoud BAWUMIA. Mind you, this is not a sponsored political advert, but it's a documentary meant to educate people and help us know more about our candidates. Dr. Mahmoud BAWUMIA was born on October 7th in 1963 in Tamale to Alhaji Mumuni BAWUMIA and Hajia Marama BAWUMIA, and is the 12th of his father's 18 children and the second of his mother's 5. Mumuni BAWUMIA's father, was a member of the National Assembly of Ghana from 1951 to 1966. He served as the clerk to the District Council of Mamprusi and then to the Mamprusi State Council. Now, the father of Mahmoud BAWUMIA, Mumuni BAWUMIA, was a founding member of the Northern People's Party, which later joined the United Party. But after some time, he defected to the Convention's People's Party of Dr. Kwame Nkrumah in 1958. This was able to help him serve in a number of governmental roles, as Nkrumah appointed him Minister of Works and Housing and then later to the Development Commissioner for the Development of Accra. He also later served as Deputy Minister. He became the Minister of the Northern Region and then a Minister of Local Government. This is one man who knew Nkrumah very well, and in our later episode you are going to find out that the father of the other candidate, John Mahama, was also a close confidant of Kwame Nkrumah. Mahmoud BAWUMIA attended the Sakasaka Primary School in Tamale and gained admission to the Tamale Secondary School in 1975. After graduating from the Tamale Secondary School, he went to the United Kingdom, where he studied banking and obtained the Chartered Institute of Bankers Diploma. He was the president of the Ghana Union of National Students Association in 1981. He took a first-class honors degree in economics at the Buckingham University in 1987. He then obtained a master's degree in economics at the Lincoln School, Oxford, and obtained a PhD in economics at the Simon Fraser University, Vancouver, in British Columbia, Canada in 1995. His areas of specialization included microeconomics, international economics, development economics, and monetary policy. From 1988 to 1990, Dr. BAWUMIA worked as a lecturer in monetary economics and international finance at the Emil Wolff College of Accountancy in London. He also served as an economics at the Research Department of International Monetary Fund in Washington, D.C. BAWUMIA also previously served as a resident representative of the African Development Bank in Zimbabwe. Between 1996 and 2000, BAWUMIA served as an assistant professor of economics at the Hankamu School of Business at Baylor University in Waco, Texas, where he also received the Young Researcher Award in 1998. He was listed in quote, "Who is Who Among America's Top Teachers" in 1999. BAWUMIA returned to Ghana in 2000 to work as an economist at the Bank of Ghana. He rose from senior economist to head of department and subsequently as special assistant to the governor of the bank. President John Agyekum Kufuor appointed Dr. BAWUMIA as deputy governor of the Bank of Ghana in June 2006. He was part of the team that designed and implemented the successful redenomination of the Ghana cedi in 2007.
The Bank of Ghana is changing our currency. From July 2007, our money will change. We will carry less money for our business transactions. There is no change
this process, the cedi was considerably strengthened. Significant savings were also made by the Bank of Ghana in the currency printing cost. Now, do you remember the e-Swish? Yes, the famous e-Swish card. He was an integral team member of those who designed and implemented the e-Swish common platform for all banks, savings and loans companies, and rural banks, offering interoperability across different financial institutions.
Now, with all this going on in Dr. BAWUMIA's life, he was not well known publicly and maintained an extremely low profile. A lot of people were surprised, especially leading members of the NPP, at Nana Akufo-Addo's decision in 2008 when he decided to nominate Dr. BAWUMIA as his running mate for president that year. Dr. BAWUMIA was a complete stranger to the Ghanaian political sphere, unless of course we are going to account for his father's involvement in the First Republic of Ghana under Osajifo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah.
2008 was the year Dr. BAWUMIA was catapulted into the public's eye. After Nana Akufo-Addo's victory in the 2007 NPP presidential primaries, a lot of interest was generated around who he was going to pick as his running mate. Naturally, whoever he picked was going to grasp the national attention. A lot of people were excited and expecting a traditional NPP top name until Nana Addo made that unexpected shock announcement of announcing Dr. BAWUMIA as his running mate. Some way, somehow, Akufo-Addo managed to convince his party why he chose BAWUMIA and how much trust he had in him. Overnight, Dr. Mahmoud BAWUMIA gained the national spotlight. The 2008 elections has been described as the most closely contested election in Ghana's history. The elections were so close that it took 3 rounds of voting for a winner to be determined. Dr. BAWUMIA and his boss, Nana Akufo-Addo, narrowly lost the election by just some 41,000 votes, representing less than 1% of the total valid votes cast. Despite this defeat, BAWUMIA's inclusion on the NPP ticket started a revolution in the significant growth of the number of votes the party garnered in the northern regions of the country. That he continually contributed until the party finally won an entire region in the north in 2016 election, the first ever they had since the 1992 elections. Shortly after the 2008 elections, Dr. BAWUMIA resigned as the Deputy Governor of the Bank of Ghana.
Now, the 2012 general elections was Dr. BAWUMIA's real introduction into the political game. In 2008, he was barely even heard on public platforms, but by 2012, he had done some serious homework and was ready to stick his head out for his party.
In this regard, I am very amused when our political opponents on the NDC side try to argue that they would like to compare the first 3 years of the MPP with the first 3 years of the NDC. How can one suggest even such a comparison? By analogy, ladies and gentlemen, by analogy, if you hand over an inefficient Tico car to me, and I work hard, and by the end of the day, I hand over to you a very efficient Metro Mass vehicle. And now you take this Metro Mass vehicle and say you want to compare it with your inefficient Tico car. I mean, it just doesn't make sense.
Dr. BAWUMIA was renominated by Nana Akufo-Addo as his vice presidential candidate for the 2012 general election in March 2012. The NPP won 10 seats in the northern region, including Yendi, his hometown Wale, Yabaga Kubore, Brumprungu, Bimbila, Cherepone, Bandai, Tatale, Sunguli, Tolon, and Sabzugu. It was also the Nadam and Talenti constituencies in the Upper East region that the NPP clinched. NPP made inroads into enemy territory in the north because of BAWUMIA's role in developing and building a support base for the party in his hometown and spreading the impact to several connected constituencies. Despite the progress up north for the NPP, they again lost the presidential elections to the NDC's new candidate John Dramani Mahama. Now, the NPP disputed the 2012 election results and contested it in court, a move that the opponents and even some of its members saw as a desperate plea to gain power, but turned out to be Dr. BAWUMIA's most important moment in Ghana's public politics. BAWUMIA led the witness of the petitioners in the 2012 presidential election petition. For 9 months, Ghanaians watched him on TV, challenging the election results and defending his party's plea. What did this do? It gave him more screen time than he had ever got, and the NPP party, if not the entire nation, saw in BAWUMIA a formidable future leader they could count on.
ID card, the part that is torn under the review. You said that. I'm putting that to you.
No, my lords. What I said was that the bottom of Form 1C is cut out, laminated, and that forms your voter's ID card with those details there. This is what I recall saying.
They again lost their case in court as the judges upheld the election results as announced by the Electoral Commission. They lost. Yes, NPP lost, but Dr. BAWUMIA won. He won the national appeal and also sold himself well, whether he did it on purpose or not.
On the basis of the foregoing figures, and by the power vested in me as the chairperson of the Electoral Commission and the returning officer for the presidential election, it is my duty and my privilege to declare Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo as the President-elect of the Republic of Ghana. Thank you. God bless our homeland Ghana and make our nation greater and stronger.
Now, heading into the 2016 elections, the NPP were more confident than they had ever been in the past 8 years. This was partly due to the electricity crisis that angered a lot of Ghanaians, as well as the show of competence by the running mate, Dr. Mahmoud BAWUMIA. Dr. BAWUMIA constantly criticized the ailing state of the economy under the NDC government and also shown that if he was elected into power, he would be able to handle the economic issues of the country much more better, and this earned him the nickname, the Economic Messiah.
Teachers are suffering. Teacher trainees are suffering. Nurses are suffering. And nursing trainees are suffering. Patients are suffering. Students are suffering. Traders are suffering. Pensioners are suffering. Drivers are suffering. Contractors are suffering. Civil servants are suffering and farmers are suffering. Fishermen are suffering and industries are suffering. Artisans are suffering and Kayaye are suffering. The disabled are suffering and men are suffering. Women are suffering and children and Ghanaians as a whole are suffering.
NPP won the 2016 elections by a landslide, and Nana Akufo-Addo appointed his vice president, Dr. Mahmoud BAWUMIA, as the head of the economic management team in 2017. The pair did fairly well in handling the economy until the COVID-19 pandemic hit globally in 2020. The NPP government was able to hold on to power after the 2020 elections, but since then, the downturn of the economy and rising inflation, which had been impacted by the external factors, forcing Ghana into an IMF bailout after it defaulted on its loans, all came tumbling down the neck of the economic messiah. The public anger was directed to the NPP government for failing to protect the country's economy for its crumbling. Dr. BAWUMIA took most of the jabs as he was seen to be at the helm of the state's economy, together with the Minister of Finance. This really hurt his public image, and the opposition NDC did not fail to capitalize on antagonizing the vice president.
I seriously believe that statement, that we have failed. Of course, we've had challenges. Nobody can say we haven't had challenges. We have had challenges, serious challenges that have kept me up at night. In 2022, that was the horrible year for us, 2022.
Dr. BAWUMIA has since then adopted a new agenda of championing the digital revolution in Ghana.
We wanted to digitize the pharmacies, the e-pharmacy. Ladies and gentlemen, patients or people generally face difficulties when trying to find medicines in pharmacies. To address this problem, government challenged the Pharmaceutical Society of Ghana to digitalize the operations of pharmacies in Ghana. Following this and working with the Pharmacy Council in collaboration with the private sector, I'm glad to say that we have completed work on a digital platform for all pharmacies in Ghana.
In June 2023, Dr. BAWUMIA filed his nomination to officially contest for the presidential primaries of the New Patriotic Party. Now, in August that same year, when the Superdelegates Congress was held, Dr. BAWUMIA took the lead with 68% of the total votes ahead of 9 other contestants to go into the contest of the National Congress of the NPP to select the next flag bearer of the party.
On the 4th of November 2023, Dr. BAWUMIA, despite all the challenges he has faced as the head of the economic management team, won the NPP presidential primaries with 61.43% of the total valid votes cast, beating his closest competition, Kennedy Echepong. On Tuesday, 9th July 2024, Dr. BAWUMIA announced Dr. Matthew Opoku Prempeh as his running mate to complete the NPP ticket for the 2024 general election. Going into this election, he comes up against a formidable candidate in an opponent, John Dramani Mahama, the former president of Ghana and former vice president during Professor Mills's presidency. Dr. BAWUMIA is campaigning on implementing wide-range tax reforms such as the flat-rate tax system to help reduce the high cost of living. He is also promising to build Ghana into a world-class digital economy. Dr. BAWUMIA is married to Samira BAWUMIA and they have 4 children. He is a member of the Mabia Moshi Dagbon ethnic group, shares the same lineage with influential figures such as Thomas Sankara, Alassane Ouattara, Haruna Idrisu, among others. He is a Muslim, and Dr. BAWUMIA was named after Yana Mahamudu Bila, the king of Dagbon, who ruled from 1948 to 1953. The name BAWUMIA means they have heard in Dagbangli and Gumprunli languages.
Thank you very much for watching the first episode of Ghana Votes on the Kente Business Journal. My name is Akote Amwakwata. Please do not forget to subscribe to the Kente Business Journal TV on YouTube. I'll catch you in our next episode.